Hey folks, so I wanted to do a little update for you on the Bone Daddy Parasquid flamethrower and bottle openers. It's been a little while since we talked about these and made a little bit of progress in getting these produced and wanted to share it with you guys. So originally, the prototype that you guys saw me using in the how-to video was actually cast and made out of silver, and that was done by a jeweler out of Florida. And in order to make that a functioning prototype, he had actually inset inside the jaw little pieces of a striker that we had gotten from firesteel.com. He had just cut off little pieces and then actually inset those into the silver so that I could use it for the purpose of the video. Now the idea was, what we were going to do was make a cast of that entire unit like that, which we ended up doing, but what we discovered was that when we cast that and had a stainless steel version, which is what you see here, even though it had those striker plates now built into its jaw as intended, the steel itself wasn't necessarily hard enough and didn't have enough of an edge in order to actually create sparks. And what I began to discover as I went down this process, and this was just through lack of experience and understanding on my own part, was in order to manufacture them that way as a single solid piece and cast them so that the body of the skull itself was actually made out of the same material as the striker edges themselves, it would have made it ultimately cost prohibitive for us because we would have had to have these steel versions of these heat treated, and then afterwards somebody would have had to go back in with a file on each one of these and actually try to file an edge in a really tiny space so that it would be enough to actually catch the edge of the ferro rod. And the reality is, for somebody to go back and do that by hand, it would have probably cost me as much to produce these as it does to produce an individual axis. So I ultimately had to scrap that idea and go back to the drawing board here, and what I've come up with is a solution that I'm really excited about. It's really effective, and I actually think ultimately works better than my original idea for this and creates a lot more sparks. So what we're ultimately going to do, what we decided is, instead of having those striker edges actually built into the skull itself, what we're going to do is cast the skull as a single solid piece of stainless steel by itself, and then in the back we're going to recess a piece of high carbon steel. Now it might be hard for you to see at this distance, but in a close-up you can actually see there is a little kind of O-shaped piece of metal that's been welded into this strip of steel for the purpose of testing, and that O-shaped piece of steel in there is a high carbon steel that has a sharpened edge all the way around the entire circumference of that O. And so ultimately what that does for us, and ultimately the user, is it gives you the opportunity to make the entire piece a striking edge for you. Moses, come here. Sorry, my dog's crawling on our camera equipment. And what I've discovered when I've been testing this is it actually works a lot better than the original jaw that I had created in the striking edges, because what you can do is when you insert the ferro rod through the plate, you can actually twist the plate, and in that way it kind of binds the ferro rod in there. Because of that, when you pull the ferro rod out, it scrapes off material from both the top and the bottom of the ferro rod and creates a lot more sparks than I actually was ever able to get when doing it the way that I had previously designed this. So ultimately, we now have a solution for these guys, and what's really cool about it and what I'm really excited about is I'm going to be able to get these manufactured here in the stateside, which is ultimately what I hope to do with all of our products in the future. But originally we had been thinking that we were going to be manufacturing these in the same factory that the Axis was going to be manufactured. But now, with these change of plans and the fact that it's actually going to be manufactured in two pieces, it's given me the opportunity to find some different people here in the States that I can work with and get it done locally. So I'm really excited about that, and really excited about how this little piece is coming together. So that about sums it up. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care and have a safe week.